Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. McFarland, thank you for being here today. I also want to thank you for sending some of your staff to our staff retreat, our policy conference last week. Security is extremely important, especially during this tenuous time that we live in. And had a member from your office as well as Capitol Police come and specifically talk to security with our DC and district staff. I appreciate that. It was very valuable. Also want to thank you for taking on this role in such a tenuous time, and for your vision. I mean, you've only 3 months after you were brought in as the acting Sergeant at Arms, you've already brought out a strategic plan. For people who may be watching outside of Washington, D.C., that is light speed in Congress for anybody to do something within 3 months, okay? And so I think it's very commendable. You begin your report by laying out the values of the House Sergeant at Arms, and as you've mentioned, you've listed them as absolute integrity, which is absolutely important, deep collaboration, thoughtful transparency, and vigilant reliability and agility. And I think those values are of the utmost importance, especially in a place to where politics kind of overrides those values a lot of times. But for the record, can you state why it is so important to have value-driven strategic plan, and if you can, elaborate on why these values in particular matter to you?
Mr. Loudermilk, the way I look at it is the values define the baseline behavior of how our people should be operating. It defines who we are. It defines a culture. I'm trying to change that culture, being a former House staffer within the Sergeant at Arms office, and how I can make it better for everybody else.
I think it's important because you're bringing experience as well as vision to something. Way too often, especially in government, whether it's in the Department of Defense, as I served, or in any element of federal government, we get to a place that we get comfortable. And comfort is often exploited by people who want to do bad things. And I think it's very important that we do not always just rest on our laurels, that we are staying ahead of those. Part of your job, you also sit on the Capitol Police Board. Can you express how these values can benefit both the Capitol Police Board as well and the U.S. Capitol Police?
Sir, the way I look at it is, right now, my main focus is to get the Sergeant at Arms to buy into the culture of what we're doing here. I think with this format, I think it would be beneficial to the Capitol Police to actually incorporate some of the strategies as well. I've known of certain officers that are here that, you know, really like the whole idea of people first, putting the people, talking to the rank and file officers. And I think that's something that the Capitol Police could learn from, and I'm hoping that, you know, us sharing this with them, they might be able to take some of these as well and put forth for their own strategic plan.
There's something that you've said repeatedly, and I want to commend you on that, is the culture. Culture is usually the baseline of everything. Regardless of what policy you have, if you don't change the culture, then nothing ever changes. And I think that is extremely important, is addressing the culture, because once the culture of an agency takes a downward turn, it doesn't matter what policy you put in. You've got to change the culture, and you have to have buy-in with the people who work and within your division, the people who work in the Sergeant at Arms office. And I feel like you're heading in the right direction there. One thing Republicans have demanded is greater accountability, transparency, and professionalism from the U.S. Capitol Police. I hear it all around. And you know, I've got good relationships with a lot of the frontline officers, and I think they want some of this as well. Do you think that the board or the Capitol Police Board or its structure are a hindrance to these goals?
No, sir, I do not. I don't think they're a hindrance. I do think that some individuals on the Capitol Police Board might have a different view of how they see the Capitol Police should be run, or they have their own opinion on how to best run the police department, which is fine. My observations, though, from where I sit and where I've sat for 32 years on Capitol Hill, is the fact that I think that there are some things that need to change, and change in the right way to change the culture. And I think that if we were to take some of these goals, like I mentioned, and the Capitol Police Board was to put forth some of these goals, I think it could change and make it a better place, not a hindrance.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. I mean, I've got more questions, but I want to be sensitive of time. And I appreciate your honesty in these answers. We're not trying to get to an end. We're trying to find what is the best solution to ensure the safety of the people that are in the Capitol, the security of the Capitol, and that our constitutional republic is safe, secure, free, and transparent. And so I thank you for the work you're doing. Look forward to working with you. And Mr. Chairman, I yield back.